Welcome to Harmonizing Your Horse's Health. Today we're going to be doing another segment on saddle fit. This segment is going to be on Show Me Saddle Fit, which is going to look at a couple tools that you can use to see if your saddle fits your horse while you do what you do.
Roberts.
Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to come 2 inches behind the scapula, because remember from our anatomy session, this scapula moves as the horse walks. So we're going to go 2 inches behind there, and we're going to put our flexible ruler right and press it up against so it conforms to both sides of the horse. I'm going to come over here and make sure it's in the right spot and do this side. Now, very gently, we're going to take it off the horse, put it down here on the ground, on our paper. You can see that he's not symmetrical. Remember, we also talked about that when we were talking about anatomy, that we've done over 250 of these wither tracings, and I have yet to find a symmetrical horse. So we're just going to trace, get it here on the paper. We're going to trace the underside, and we're going to write his name on it and the date. Okay, let's trace another withers here. So we're going to come a couple fingers behind, put our flexible ruler on there, come over here to the other side, very gently take it off and put it on our paper. And we'll trace the underside again. Write his name down and date it. Now that our wither tracings are done, we're going to go to our tack room. Here we've just brought out some saddles, put it on the rail, and we're going to see which saddles might be possible to use. Because remember, if our saddle's too small, we can't put enough pads underneath it to make it fit. Okay? That will just make the saddle tighter. The first saddle we'll take is this one here. Just bring it off the rack, set it down. We're not worried about this flexible part down here. We're worried about this part where the tree is, and we need to be able to see both lines. And you can do that, come right up here over top, look down, and we can see both lines. Take a little different saddle. You can see that that one would fit too. However, we determined when we were looking at this one the other day, this one has a broken tree. So, we're going to go ahead and put this saddle on our horse. You can see it doesn't fit, it rocks on his back. He's unhappy with it. We slide it back, it doesn't get any better. So a saddle made with this tree would not fit this horse. This one fits nicely, or would fit nicely. Remember, we don't worry about this flexible part down here. We're worried about the tree. Now that we've determined which saddles we can try on our horse, that's okay, but all we've done is fit basically a saddle to an immovable object. And that's not what we want. Saddle fit requires 4 different things to be considered done. We have to have a horse, a saddle, a rider, and I don't think very many of us are going to ride our horses standing still, so we have to incorporate movement. Problem with incorporating movement into saddle fit is determining what's happening under the saddle as we move. We like to use a Play-Doh pad. Now, we wouldn't want to ride in this for very long, any extended periods of time, because it'd be very uncomfortable and the Play-Doh would pop out. But what you can see is that the Play-Doh gets to be varying thicknesses underneath there. We're going to come over here and we're going to roll our pad out, get it nice and even. Get rid of, that way we can tell all the pressure points when we ride. So the Play-Doh's pretty even. We already did the other side, so now let's go put them on the horse. Put our pad on the horse. This is the only pad we're going to use for a little bit. We're not going to ride, but for about 4 or 5 minutes, we're going to walk, trot. If this is a jumper, we're going to do some jumping. We're going to do what we would normally do every time we ride so that we know if the movements of the horse are compatible with the saddle. So we put the saddle on top of the Play-Doh pad, the impression pad. We made sure it's in the right place, that it's going to stay there where gravity is going to allow it to stay. And now we're going to have our rider test it out. All right, so now that our rider's done, we're having her come in. We'll ask her to get off. And we're going to take the saddle off very gently. I recommend somebody on each side. And you ready? We're going to count to 3 and we're going to go straight up. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And our Play-Doh, that hopefully should be nice and even, is not.